Will you pray with me? Dear God, we thank you and we praise you for the opportunity to gather here tonight to celebrate the accomplishments of the class of 1997. We thank you that we live in a country and a community that values education and provides learning opportunities for its young people. We praise you for the many people who have helped this class reach this milestone in their lives, parents and other family members, teachers and school administration, and all of their many friends. We ask you to bless this evening and to guide and use the various speakers, and we give you all the praise and glory. Amen. You may be seated.
Class of 1997. Faculty, parents, and friends, welcome. It is a pleasure for me to introduce the speaker this evening, Dr. Steve Eisman, a member of the class of 1966 at McClain. He will be delivering the commencement speech. Dr. Eisman currently serves as the Associate Professor in the Department of Communication Arts at Ohio Northern University, located in Ada, Ohio. Dr. Eisman earned his Bachelor of Fine Arts degree with a major in photography and minors in art history, studio art from Ohio University. He earned a master's degree in communication arts from Xavier University. Eisman earned his doctorate of philosophy and communication degree from The Ohio State University. His dissertation was entitled Showing as a Way of Saying. Dr. Eisman has served in public relations for Wilmington College, Upper Iowa University, St. Francis College, and Ohio Dominican College. He also worked in his family-owned and operated Greenfield Green and Hay, and operated his own photography studio and gift shop. Eisman is the son of Dane and Joy Eisman of Greenfield. Dr. Eisman and his wife Sue, who is a member of the McClain faculty, reside in Greenfield area. They are the parents of Dane and Alyssa and Jonathan Eisman. Once again, it's a pleasure for me to introduce your speaker this evening, Dr. Eisman.
Thank you for that kind introduction, Superintendent Cornett. I am glad to be here, and I am delighted to have a chance to talk to members of the McClain High School class of 1997. In his introduction, Dr. Cornett mentioned that I had worked in the areas of journalism and public relations and communication. And so it really came as no surprise to me. A while back, I was talking to Dr. Strain, and he asked me, he said, "Steve, do you believe in free speech?" I didn't hesitate a minute. I said, "Well, yes, of course I do." Dr. Strain said, "That's wonderful, because we are looking for somebody to give one at commencement this year." I want to go on record as having told you in the class of 1997 that this speech is going to be worth every penny that I've been paid to give it. In the introduction, the superintendent also mentioned some of the things that I had done, and while I'd like to take all of the credit for all of those things, I really can't do that any more than any of you can take all of the credit for all of the things that you have done. And I think philosophers explain that best when they describe the way civilization advances by saying every generation really stands on the shoulders of the generations that came before. And I know that's true in my case. There have been Eismans here around Greenfield for many generations, and certainly they must share in the credit for anything that I have done. My family's had a long and strong relationship with McClain High School. My grandfather and grandmother, some of you may remember them, Maple and Elsie, were students here when Mr. McClain was building this school. My father and mother, Dane and Joy, who are setting up in the stands here this evening and probably worried some about what I'm going to say, both graduated from McClain High School over 50 years ago. My sister and I are both McClain graduates. My wife, Sue. Many of you in the class know my wife, Sue. You probably call her Mrs. Eisman. She is not a McClain High School graduate. But she's been coming to school here every day for almost 20 years. And I think Sue and all of the teachers that have done so much to help you all the way through ought to get a round of applause to thank them. I have had children graduate from McClain High School. My oldest son, Dane, is a McClain graduate. My favorite daughter, Alyssa, is a McClain graduate. And my youngest son, Jonathan, who is seated way in the back by the band back there, is going to be seated right here where you graduates are in the year 2000. Isn't that right, Jonathan? All right, good, good. I expect I have attended as many graduations as almost anybody, and I have to confess to you that during some of those graduation speeches, I have probably done the same thing that some of you are going to do during this one. That's right, I've stayed awake. And I was awake a while back when I heard a speaker say that for a commencement address to be immortal, it does not have to be eternal. I don't think there's much chance anybody here is going to consider anything I say tonight immortal, but I can absolutely guarantee you that it will not take me an eternal length of time to say it. I only have 3 things that I want to do. I want to share some interesting thoughts with you. I want to tell you a story about relationships, and I want to talk a little bit about your good fortune. And I am only going to spend about 2 minutes on each one, so this is going to go quick. Some interesting thoughts. I heard some applause there at that part. Some interesting thoughts. And I was looking over the commencement program. I think you all got a copy when you came in this evening, and I was reading the class list of 1997, and I realized that some of your parents had been in school at the same time that I was in school here at McClain. And I thought, wouldn't it be an interesting talk for you if I could tell you some stories about some of the things your parents had done when they were in school here? I see a few parents getting edgy there. But then I got to thinking about that, and I realized that by telling you stories about things your parents might have done, I would also be confessing to some things that I had done when I was in school here, and I am standing entirely too close to the superintendent and the principal to want to risk that. So in this speech, I'll mention nothing about Connie Collins' attendance record when she was a student here. I'll not speculate about how Phil Clyburn's car ended up in that front yard. I won't talk about anything that Tom Beatty may or may not have done when he was a student here at McClain. I'm not even going to mention Terry Ridgway or Franklin Lucas or Tim Dreer or Pat Hayes or any other parent or Bill Buck or any other parent or friend or relative of any member of the class of 1997. One thing I will talk about, though, and that's something that I learned at McClain and that I know you learned as well. I know you learned it in your English class, in fact. And that is that when you steal an idea from someone, it's called plagiarism. Now, later on, when I was in graduate school writing my dissertation, I discovered that if you steal lots of ideas from lots of people, it's called good research. This part of my talk will be very well researched. I have some quotations that I want to share with you. And the first one is, lightning never strikes the same place twice because the same place isn't there the second time. And I think that tells us something about the nature of change. The world is a different place today than it was yesterday, and tomorrow will not be the same as today. For those of you graduating this evening, change is going to come very rapidly, and you need to be ready for it. Another quotation, and I like this one a lot. He who laughs lasts. He who laughs lasts. And I think this tells us that we all need to lighten up a little bit. Smile more often. Try and see the humor in life. In fact, if any of you feel like laughing at any time during this talk, feel free to do so. Please feel free to do so. Another quotation I found, never play leapfrog with a unicorn. I don't think that one requires any more explanation. And finally, if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. And I think all of you are on the right track. You're graduating from McClain High School this evening. But if you just sit there, you're going to get run over. Someday, in some way, all of you in the class are going to find that you need more education. You're going to need it to get jobs, you are going to need it to keep those jobs, and you are going to need it to get better jobs. I encourage you to enjoy the process of getting that education. as well as what that education can do for you. And don't be concerned if it seems like it takes a long time. I had some students at Ohio Northern come up to me just last week, and they said, Dr. Eisman, we don't think we can stand any more education. In fact, as I was thinking about that a little while ago, I realized they'd come up to me and said that right after one of my brilliant 2-hour lectures. But I tried to encourage them. I said, it may take you 8 semesters or 12 quarters to finish your work here, but every step that comes later will come quicker. I finished a doctorate in only 3 terms, 2 of Ronald Reagan's and 1 of George Bush's. I do take some ribbing from some of my friends sometimes about having been in school for a long time, and what I do is what I encourage you to do. In fact, as soon as commencement is over this evening, you ought to do it, and that is thank the Lord for a supportive and understanding, and in my case, very tolerant family. And speaking of family, that takes us to the second part of my talk, relationships. Good relationships are the key to success. Good relationships are the key to happiness. Good relationships are the key to everything, and I've got a story I want to tell you that I think will make the whole matter of building and keeping good relationships much easier for all of you. Years ago, when my son Jonathan was just a little fella, and I'll caution you to keep in mind this was years ago, long ago. If you ask Jonathan about this story, he may not remember it. That certainly doesn't mean it's not a true story. Jonathan came in the house one day, and he had a ball and a bat and a glove, and he came up to me and he said the same thing that kids have been coming up to their fathers and saying for generations. He said, Dad, come on out and throw some balls. And I said the same thing to Jonathan that fathers have been saying to kids for generations. I said, I am too busy. Go ask your mother. Jonathan wandered on out in the next room and he asked his mother, and he said, Mom, come on out and throw some balls. Let me pause here a minute to remind you this was a long time ago. If you would ask Sue about this story, she may not remember it either. That certainly doesn't mean it's not a true story. But Sue said, no, I don't have time, Jonathan. You go ahead. Jonathan put his head down. He kind of shuffled out of the house. I heard the screen door bang in a minute, and I thought, Jonathan is an awful good boy, and I ought to spend more time with him. So I quit what I was doing. I walked over to the window so I could see what he was doing. Sue had the same idea at the same time, and she walked over, and she was standing right next to me. And we watched Jonathan out there. He threw the glove down on the ground. He put the bat back on his shoulder. You may have, a lot of you in the class may have done this when you were kids. He threw the ball up in the air, came around for a swing. Strike 1. He missed. Didn't bother him at all. He ran over and got the ball and came back, threw it up in the air again, came around for another swing. Strike 2. He missed again. Still didn't bother him. Jonathan went over, got the ball. He came back. He had a determined look on his face. Those of you in the class who know Jonathan, I'm sure know that look. Came back, he got back over that imaginary home plate, threw the ball up in the air again, came around with another swing, strike 3. Sue and I looked at each other and we said, oh, struck out, he is a terrible batter. We looked back out the window at Jonathan, and Jonathan was just laughing and grinning. Jonathan was thinking, struck out, I am a wonderful pitcher. And life is a lot like that. Oftentimes, the only difference between a problem and an opportunity is in the way that we look at it. And I'll tell you in the class, if you can learn to look at problems as opportunities, you will be very fortunate, and the whole matter of building and keeping good relationships is going to get much easier for you. And speaking of being very fortunate, that brings me to my final point. Your good fortune. Years ago, I worked with an organization called the Council of Independent Colleges on a public awareness campaign. And the theme of that campaign was, small schools can help you make it big. We thought about that, and we determined that the best way to illustrate that theme was to find some graduates of small schools who'd had large successes. And we found that that was very easy to do. We discovered that the president of Ford Motor Company at that time was a graduate of a small school right here in Ohio. We found that the president of the World Bank was a graduate of a small school. In fact, the president of the United States of America was a graduate of a small school. Edward Lee McClain High School is a small school, and you are very fortunate to be graduating from there this evening. At McClain High School, you've had to fit in. From an early age, you've had to learn to get along with others. At McClain High School, you've had to do right. You've had to do what you know down inside is the right thing to do, and you've had to do it in the right way, to the best of your ability. You haven't been able to look for the easy way out or try and take a shortcut and think that you could hide in the crowd, because at McClain High School, there is no crowd. You'll learn as you go through life the same thing that I have learned, the same thing that others on the platform here who graduated from McClain have learned, the same thing your friends and relatives and parents, in fact, the same thing McClain graduates all over the country have learned. And that is that a degree from McClain High School will enable and enrich you in countless ways for the rest of your days. You are fortunate indeed. In conclusion, I have one other thing I'd like to do. I'd like to ask a favor of members of the class of 1997. I'd like for a few of you to save copies of tonight's commencement program. That way, 25 years from now, when you're planning that big reunion and none of you can remember who your commencement speaker was, you'll be able to look in that program and you'll see my name. I want you to invite me to that reunion. Nothing could give me greater joy than seeing what good things become of all of you. To members of the class of 1997, I offer my personal congratulations, and I say good wishes and Godspeed to you all.
Thank you, Dr. Eisman. At this time, Holly Noel Unger, President of the Class of 1997, will address the class. Holly?
Family, friends, school board, Dr. Eisman, Dr. Ping, and the graduating class of 1997. For a moment, let's think about the movie, The Wizard of Oz. As you probably remember, the movie had 4 main characters: Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Lion. Each of these characters had a flaw that enabled them to succeed in life. Dorothy was blown away by a tornado to a new, strange land. Dorothy desperately wanted to get back to her farm in Kansas, but she realized that leaving home gave her a new perspective on life. Her determination to get back home drove her to succeed. All of us need to have the determination to succeed in life. Whether you're going to college, getting a job, or going to the military, all of us need to have determination. Well, as Dorothy went down the yellow brick road to Oz, where supposedly all of her dreams would come true, she met up with the Scarecrow. Now, the Scarecrow didn't have a brain, and he felt that he could never succeed in life if he didn't have a brain. Well, all of us need to use our brains for the future. We need to use our brains to set goals and to achieve them, because we never will succeed if we have no goals to achieve. So Dorothy and the Scarecrow continued down the yellow brick road to Oz, where supposedly all their dreams would come true, when they met up with the Tin Man. Now, the Tin Man didn't have a heart, and he felt that he could never succeed in life without having emotions or feelings. All of us need to use our hearts to remember the past. We need to remember McClain High School, all of our friends, and Greenfield. We need to live for the future, but also remember where we came from. Well, as Dorothy, the Scarecrow, and the Tin Man continued down the yellow brick road to Oz, where supposedly all their dreams would come true, they met up with the Lion. Now, the Lion didn't have courage, and he felt that he could never succeed without courage. All of us need to have courage to go into the real world. We need to have courage to go after our dreams and to make them reality. Well, as Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Lion continued down the yellow brick road to Oz, where supposedly all of their dreams would come true, they met one obstacle: the man behind the curtain that told them all of their dreams were impossible. Well, as we all continue down the yellow brick road of life, we will all meet the man behind the curtain that tells us that our dreams are impossible. But we must always remember that our dreams are possible if we follow these steps. Use your brain to set and achieve goals. Use your heart to remember the past. Have courage to make your dreams reality, and remember that nothing is ever impossible. And above all, we must truly believe that there is no place like home. Graduating class of 1997, as senior class president, I hope that you all have happiness and success in your lives, and I hope to see you all in 5 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. Amy Sarah Cook, valedictorian of the class of 1997, will now address the class.
Students, faculty, family, and friends, I have heard numerous speeches made by valedictorians and salutatorians in the past, and the topics generally discussed have not changed over the years. The future and how to succeed are common themes, and usually the past is discussed as an aid to making the future better. It is obvious why these topics keep coming up. We are here today to mark by way of the ceremony our move into adulthood. We need to examine our past to understand the people we are as we enter this new realm, and we definitely need to consider what future is in store for us. I'm not going to stand up here and pretend to know the perfect recipe for success. Perhaps the tradition of allowing the valedictorian and salutatorian to speak was started because it was thought that these people would know the most about success because of their achievements academically. But I know many more people in our class who have succeeded in many other ways. Emily Cook has an after-school job in which she has reached management status. Stephanie Johnson has been a member of many after-school activities, including volleyball, basketball, and track, and has received many awards for her skills. Her participation in marching band, National Honor Society, show choir, and school musicals makes me wonder how she's accomplished as she has. When I think of these two people and myself, I see one common element among us. What all of us have achieved was not handed to us. We have worked for what we have gained. And I have already said I would not preach and pretend to know the key to success, but I feel a need to state what seems obvious to me. Success does not come without effort. After high school, we will become adults, and what we do is our own choice. Choose something and go towards it with all your effort, and more than likely, success will be found. I want to say honestly that I think McClain High School has prepared all of us very well for a bright future. When I moved here 4 years ago, I was amazed by the politeness and kindness with which I was greeted. This school has become, over these 4 short years, a second family for me. I don't think that I could have found that sort of environment at many other schools. I've been given the opportunity to understand how a little kindness can affect everyone positively. It's this common respect for every person that we seniors leave behind as our legacy. We also have a school that has instilled in us a sense of community and pride. We will leave the school with not only a strong educational background, but with a sense of who we are as McClain graduates. We are a force to be reckoned with. When I started this speech, I said I wouldn't give advice. I guess I lied. But the advice I have given is advice that I think we've all realized is true. We all have the ability to achieve in whatever we choose as McClain graduates. All we need to do is put the effort into our goals. Thank you.
Amy, it's with great respect for your academic achievements at McClain High School. It's my privilege to present you with this medallion and certificate to honor you as valedictorian of the McClain High School class of 1997. Stuart Joseph Beatty, salutatorian of the McClain class of 1997, will now address the class. Stuart.
Good morning. Evening, I guess. This past week, The Odyssey was shown as an NBC miniseries. As I sat back and I thought of the magnificent story of Odysseus, I could not help but think of the similarities between his journey and ours of the past 13 years. It amazed me to think that something Homer wrote over 2,000 years ago could still describe the adventures we go through today. The moral of the Odyssey is simply to never give up on your goals. Odysseus fought for 10 long years to achieve his goal of reaching his homeland. Every time some sort of doubt ran across his mind, he thought of his beautiful wife and ventured on. This is very similar to our journey over the past decade. We fought long and hard to achieve our goal. There were an endless number of times when we didn't want to go to school because we were sick, we hadn't studied, we just had a fight with our boyfriend or girlfriend, we were afraid someone would beat us up, or we simply didn't want to see our teacher's face. Whatever the reason, we went to school anyway because we wanted to receive our diploma. On his way back home, Odysseus faced many hardships which seemed impossible for him to overcome. At one point, he was trapped inside the cave of a Cyclops, 20 times his size. It seemed that both he and his goal would die. However, Odysseus refused to give up. He wanted to reach his homeland so bad that he tricked the Cyclops, and he defeated him. This is very similar to the hardships we have overcome in the past 13 years. There were times when we had family problems, or we broke up with our boyfriend or girlfriend, and we didn't want to come to school. But we did go to school, and we met new friends, and we learned that they went through the same things we did. At the end of the Odyssey, Odysseus reaches his homeland. After all the trials he faced, he finally reached his goal. He fought through the storms, the sea monsters, the Cyclops, and everything else to accomplish what started out as a simple task. Odysseus lives in all of us here today. When we started in kindergarten, it sounded easy to say that one day we were going to graduate. Along the way, we found that sometimes it wasn't quite so easy, though. The simple task of graduating seemed as if it would never come. Now, we sit as the cream of the crop. We finally accomplished our simple task, and now we're going to receive our diploma. As I already said, Odysseus found his way home after 10 hellacious years. When he finally got there, he wasn't welcome with the huge party. No one believed that he was who he was, and his kingdom was in complete turmoil. Odysseus proved himself, though, and finally everyone believed that he was the true Odysseus. This is very similar to us, because now that we have reached our one goal, we must go on from here. The next few days, we will all celebrate our graduation. We will stuff ourselves with cake and punch and everything else. But after next week, we will have to move out into the real world. The people accepting us or hiring us in the jobs or colleges are going to question us. They're going to say, "Why should I believe you?" Or "Why should I take you over all the other hundreds that are trying for the same thing?" We have to go out and prove ourselves, though, just as Odysseus did. We have to show them that we deserve the job or the degree. If we don't prove ourselves, then why are we here today? This diploma we are about to receive can help us get what we want, but it can't give us everything. This diploma should mean more to us than just being done with high school. It should remind us of our memories here throughout the past 13 years. The time we went to the circus in kindergarten, going to COSI in the second grade, going to all of the slumber birthday parties and staying up all night and doing things that we would never dream of doing today. Going out to Mitchell's Park that last week, 5th grade. We all shared these things. We also shared being the first 8th grade class of Greenfield Middle School and being scared to death our first day of high school. Experiencing all the football games, the basketball games, the choir concerts, the band concerts, and all the other activities here at McClain High School. The homecomings, the proms, and all-night parties. These are great memories that no one can take away from us. And everyone sitting out there remembers these things just as I do. Every time we look at our diplomas, we should all think about how lucky we are to have attended McClain High School. All the beautiful artwork and statues around that we take for granted until we enter some other high school. I know that I will never forget when the North Adams basketball team walked through our hallways and were just in disbelief as they oohed and awed at our beautiful statues. Every time we look at our diplomas, we should think of all this, plus whatever memories we have of ourselves. Each diploma represents the end of a 13-year journey and the beginning of the most exciting adventure yet. It is a tool to help us in this adventure, and it deserves the greatest amount of pride, honor, and respect that we have. I would like to thank God, my parents, my brother and sister, my friends and family, all the teachers I've had and all the coaches I've had, and last but not least, the people of Greenfield. Because since I've played sports, I realize that all the people that support McClain High School truly are some of the most unique, and some people might say the most rude, but I say they're the absolute best. So class of 97, as we leave this room today and venture into the real world, I leave us with a quote from an unknown source. It says, "Even a mosquito doesn't get a slap on the back until it starts to work." Thank you.
Stuart, with great respect for your academic achievements at McClain High School, it's my privilege to present you with this medallion and certificate to honor you as the salutatorian of the McClain High School class of 1997. At this time, members of the class will join the band to perform their selection under the direction of Mr. Chadwick Will. Several years ago, McClain High School was very fortunate to receive from one of our benefactors an endowed scholarship to Ohio University. Dr. Will Conacher, a member of the McClain class of 1940, saw fit to remember where he came from the Greenfield community and McClain High School, and the role that it played in his life. He has chosen to reward academic excellence by providing a scholarship. Dr. Conacher is unable to be with us this evening, but we are indeed fortunate to have here to present the Conacher Scholarship a man who is a legend at Ohio University. Many of us who have attended Ohio University are very familiar with his name, and it's indeed a pleasure to meet with him and work with him on the Conacher Cutler Scholarship Award. We are very, very pleased to have with us this evening Dr. Charles Ping, President Emeritus of Ohio University, Trustee Professor of Philosophy and Education, and Executive Director of the Cutler Scholars Program. Dr. Ping.
To the McClain High School class of 1997, I offer the congratulations and best wishes of Will Conacher. I'm here as his substitute. To the faculty of McClain High School, I would add a personal note, a note of appreciation for the steady stream of very well prepared and very remarkable young people that you sent us. And finally, I would like to offer to Tyler Lynn Chamblin both Will Conacher's congratulations and mine in being named the Wilfred R. Conacher Manasseh Cutler Scholar for this year.
On behalf of the Board of Education, it gives me great pleasure to present scholarships to graduates of the class of 1997 in memory of distinguished citizens and friends of the Greenfield community. As I call their name, the seniors should come to the stage. James M. and Ruth Watt Memorial Scholarship. Mark David Baldwin, Andrea Dawn Bethel, Beth Ann Uri, Stephanie Marie Johnson, Donna Sue McCarty, Beth Ann Tackett. The Heidingsfeld Scholarship, Amy Sarah Cook. The Donahoe Scholarship, Stuart Joseph Beatty, Amy Sarah Cook, Hannah Marie Lucas, Holly Noel Unger, Tracy Lee Waterly, Jeffrey John Weller. Okay, the recipients of the Greenfield Schools Alumni Scholarships, if you'll please come to the stage. Scott Allen Bowman, Jody Lynn Head, Benjamin Charles Snodgrass, Carla Dawn Stapleton. We are pleased with the support the community has shown for additional scholarship assistance. At this time, we recognize and congratulate those who have received other awards. Please hold your applause until all names have been called. John Robert Ball, McClain Athletic Booster Scholarship. Brandon Michael Bach, Dean Scholarship, Otterbein College, McClain Athletic Booster Scholarship. Jeremy Allen Baker, Southern State Community College Summer Superstart Scholarship. Mark David Baldwin, FETRO 4-H Scholarship, Flynn Corwin Fox Family Scholarship, Ohio State University Grant, Ohio State University Pausch Scholarship, James M. and Ruth Watt Memorial Scholarship. Stuart Joseph Beatty, Kasner Scholarship, Donahoe Scholarship, Flynn Corwin Fox Family Scholarship, Good Hope Lions Scholarship, McClain Athletic Booster Scholarship, National Honor Society Scholarship, Pell Grant, Dean Scholarship, Ohio Northern, Ron Wood Memorial Scholarship. Andrea Dawn Bethel, James M. and Ruth Watt Memorial Scholarship. Scott Allen Bowman, Greenfield Peace Officer Scholarship, Greenfield Schools Alumni Scholarship. Jason Patrick Campbell, Montgomery GI Bill. Kylie A. Carson, Good Hope Lions Scholarship, Freshman Foundation Scholarship, Ohio State University. Tyler Lynn Chamblin, Conacher Cutler Scholarship Award, Ohio University, National Honor Society Scholarship. Mark Phillip Clyburn, Flynn Corwin Fox Family Scholarship, McClain Athletic Booster Scholarship, Roger Grooms Memorial Scholarship. Amy Sarah Cook, Donahoe Scholarship, Wright State Valedictorian Salutatorian Scholarship, National Honor Society Scholarship, Ohio Academic Scholarship, Heidingsfeld Scholarship. Adam Nicholas Detweiler, McClain Athletic Booster Scholarship, Ashley Reynolds Memorial Scholarship, Service Star Scholarship, National Honor Society Scholarship. Beth Ann Urey, James M. and Ruth Watt Memorial Scholarship. Amy Nicole Ferries, Southern State Community College Summer Superstart Scholarship. Thomas Dean Filbore, DeVry University Grant. Angela Marie Hayes, McClain Athletic Booster Scholarship. Jody Lynn Head, Greenfield Schools Alumni Scholarship, Huntington College Music Scholarship, Huntington College Ministerial Scholarship. Stephanie Marie Johnson, National Honor Society Scholarship, James M. and Ruth Watt Memorial Scholarship. Hannah Marie Lucas, Donahoe Scholarship, McClain Athletic Booster Scholarship, Kathy Richardson Scholarship, Ron Wood Memorial Scholarship, Flynn Corwin Fox Family Scholarship, National Honor Society Scholarship, Ohio Northern University Grant, Ohio Northern Academic Scholarship. Donna Sue McCarty, Morehead State University Tuition Assistance Grant, Pell Grant, Travis Turvey Scholarship, Southern State Community College Summer Superstart Scholarship, James M. and Ruth Watt Memorial Scholarship. Heather Dawn Paget, National Honor Society Scholarship. Aaron Kyle Penn, Deddy Scholarship, McClain Athletic Booster Scholarship, National Honor Society Scholarship. Tony Ann Rogers, National Honor Society Scholarship. Benjamin Charles Snodgrass, Greenfield Schools Alumni Scholarship, McClain Athletic Booster Scholarship, National Honor Society Scholarship, Southern State Community College Summer Superstart Scholarship, Wilmington College Academic Scholarship. Ashley Nicole Shoemaker, Southern State Community College Summer Superstart Scholarship. Carla Dawn Stapleton, Greenfield Schools Alumni Scholarship, McClain Athletic Booster Scholarship, Pell Grant, James Washburn Memorial Scholarship. Beth Ann Tackett, Morehead Tuition Assistance Grant, Greenfield Mothers Club Scholarship, James M. and Ruth Watt Memorial Scholarship. Holly Noel Unger, Donahoe Scholarship, Highland County 4-H Scholarship, McClain Athletic Booster Scholarship, National Honor Society Scholarship, Purdue University Academic Scholarship, Purdue University Grant, Southern State Community College Summer Superstar Scholarship, Ron Wood Memorial Scholarship. Tracy Lee Waterly, Donahoe Scholarship, National Honor Society Scholarship. Jeffrey John Weller, Donahoe Scholarship, Cincinnati Scholarship, University of Cincinnati, McClain Athletic Booster Scholarship, Ohio Northern University Church Grant, Ohio Northern University Dean Scholarship, First United Methodist Church Matching Grant, Ohio Student Choice Grant.
Congratulations on your outstanding achievements. Be seated. McClain High School maintains a close working relationship with the Great Oaks Joint Vocational School District and the Laurel Oaks Career Development Campus. Mr. Art Corbin, member of the Greenfield Board of Education, represents our district on the Great Oaks Board of Education. Each year, approximately 80 of our students attend Laurel Oaks, where they receive a fine education in a variety of vocational programs. Mrs. Maggie Hess, Assistant Director on the Laurel Oaks campus, is with us on stage this evening representing Laurel Oaks. Please welcome Mrs. Hess. "15 members of the class of '97 have been awarded the Presidential Academic Fitness Award. Will the following seniors please stand and remain standing? Please hold your applause until all students have been recognized. Mark David Baldwin, Stuart Joseph Beatty, Scott Allen Bowman, Tyler Lynn Chamblin, Amy Sarah Cook, Stephanie Marie Johnson, Hannah Marie Lucas, Aaron Kyle Penn, Joanne Sue Riffle, Tony Ann Rogers, Bo Ryan Smith, Holly Noel Unger, Tracy Lee Waterly, Jeffrey John Weller, Rachel Marie Woods. Please recognize these seniors for having received the Presidential Academic Fitness Award. "16 members of the class of '97 received the State Board of Education Award of Merit for College Preparatory Studies. To qualify for this award, a student must have satisfactorily completed the following: 4 units of English, 3 units of mathematics, including 1 unit of algebra and 1 unit of geometry, 3 units of science, including 2 units from biology, chemistry, and physics, 3 units of social studies, including 2 units of history and 1/2 unit of government, 3 units of foreign language, including no less than 2 units of any one language. They must have maintained an average attendance, above average attendance for grades 9 through 12. They must have maintained a 3.25 GPA or higher for grades 9 through 12, or a 3.5 GPA for grades 11 and 12. They must have shown participation in co-curricular or extracurricular activities and have demonstrated outstanding citizenship and character traits. Will the following seniors please stand and remain standing? Stuart Joseph Beatty, Scott Allen Bowman, Kylie Carson, Tyler Chamblin, Mark Phillip Clyburn, Amy Sarah Cook, Emily Ann Cook, Amy Nicole Ferris, Stephanie Marie Johnson, Hannah Marie Lucas, Aaron Kyle Penn, Benjamin Charles Snodgrass, Holly Noel Unger, Tracy Lee Waterly, Jeffrey John Weller, Rachel Marie Woods. Please recognize these seniors for having received the State Board of Education Award of Merit for College Preparatory Studies. Two members of the class of '97 received the State Board of Education Award of Merit for Vocational Studies. To qualify for this award, a student must have satisfactorily met the following criteria: 4 units of English, 3 units of mathematics, 2 units of science, 3 units of social studies, the completion of a vocational occupational preparation program. They must have maintained above average attendance for grades 9 through 12, a minimum 3.25 GPA for grades 9 through 12, or 3.5 for grades 11 and 12. They must have shown participation in co-curricular or extracurricular activities. They must have demonstrated outstanding citizenship and character traits. Will the following seniors please stand? Adam Nicholas Detweiler, Jason Burl Howland. Please recognize these students for having received the State Board of Education Award of Merit for Vocational Studies. Mrs. Penn. It's with great pleasure that I present to the Greenfield Exempted Village Board of Education the 127 members of the graduating class of 1997. I recommend that these students who have completed the graduation requirements of the State of Ohio and the Greenfield Exempted Village Board of Education be granted diplomas.
On behalf of the Greenfield Exempted Village School District Board of Education, it is a pleasure to accept your recommendation to grant diplomas to each qualified member of the McClain class of 1997. We will award those diplomas at this time.
We ask that while we set up, that parents and guests please remain outside the yellow ropes in order not to interfere with the orderly procession of the class. Mike's ready. Are you ready? Holly Noel Unger, President of the Class of 1997, Diploma with Honors. Bradley Allen White, Vice President of the Class of 1997. Hannah Marie Lucas, Secretary of the Class of 1997, Diploma with Honors. Kelly Jo Brigner, Treasurer of the Class of 1997. That one didn't go. Amy Sarah Cook, valedictorian of the Class of 1997, Diploma with Honors. Stuart Joseph Beatty, salutatorian of the Class of 1997, Diploma with Honors. Amy Jo Adams. Voito Agner. Carrie Lynn Anderson. John Robert Ball. Brandon Michael Bach. Jeremy Allen Baker. Mark David Baldwin. Andrea Dawn Bethel. Michael Glenn Blackwell. Marcia Elaine Block. Scott Allen Bowman. Michelle Renee Brooks. Brooke Ashley Buck. Chastity Dawn Campbell. Jason Patrick Campbell. Nathan Adam Campbell. Kylie Akeakamai Carson. Tyler Lynn Chamblin, Diploma with Honors. Stephanie Lynn Klauser. Mark Philip Clyburn. Angela Lynn Cook. Emily Ann Cook. Tiffany Lynn Cook. Howard Wayne Coonrod. Glenna Renee Cooper. Robert Elroy Cramblett. Cecilia Corina da Silva. Adam Nicholas Detweiler. Jennifer Lynn Eber. Sean Michael Eddings. Joseph Charles Edwards. Holly Beth Everhart. Shiloh Everhart. Beth Ann Uri. Amy Nicole Ferris. Thomas Dean Fillmore. Christina Pearl Gray. Rachel Elizabeth Gross. Wesley James Haynes. Amy Renee Harden. Tiffany Ann Hardy. Amber Lynette Hartsook. Angela Marie Hayes. Jody Lynn Head. Scott L. Henderson. Amy Lynn Hester. Jennifer Lynn Heidi. Catherine Marie Hiley. Kenya Renee Henkel. Robert J. Hogle. Katrin Holdsworth. Bonnie Jean Hopper. Jason Burl Howland. Jason Lee Hughes. Stacy Joe Jackson. Christopher Michael Jenkins. Darla Corrine Johnson. Stephanie Marie Johnson. Tiffany Jean Jones. Amber Nicole Nisley. Scott Michael Nisley. Jeffrey Lynn Lawwill. Nicholas Reed Leitner. Jeremiah James Looney. Rex Allen Lauk. Stephen Chase Marple. Bruce Michael Martin. Donald Lee Martin. Donna Sue McCarty. Joshua Lee McCoy. Chad Michael McMurray. Jodelle May Miller. Stephanie Allison Miller. Amber Cherie Minsler. Jacob David Moore. Jamie Lynn Murphy. Roger Lee Murphy. Sean Michael Mustard. Heather Dawn Padgett. Holly Denise Parker. Aaron Kyle Penn, Diploma with Honors. Sean Lee Pryor. Joanne Sue Riffle. Jeffrey S. Rittenauer. Nicholas Lloyd Roark. Daphne Spring Roberts. Tony Ann Rogers. Raymond Lawrence Edward Scaletta. Ashley Nicole Shoemaker. Isaiah Nathaniel Skeens. April Marlene Smart. Bo Ryan Smith. Benjamin Charles Snodgrass. Ronald E. Sorrell II. Crystal Ann Sova. Richard Sova. David Maxwell Stafford. Carla Dawn Stapleton. Monica Renee Sterling. Talina Sue Stewart. Larry Charles Stroop, Jr. Beth Ann Tackett. Joshua Charles Thompson. Clayton M. Toll. Crystal Gail Toll. James Joshua Van Dyke. Bobby Joe Wagner. Tracy Lee Waterly, Diploma with Honors. Jeffrey John Weller. Shane Alden Wellman. Stephen Forrest Weil. Christopher Scott Wilson. Bethany J. Wise. Rachel Marie Woods. Randy Jean Wright. At this time, members of the senior choir will be performing Leave You With a Smile under the direction of Dale E. Kennar. To be seated for the recessional.
Receive this benediction. Go, determined to use the education that you've gained over the last 13 years, determined to build on the friendships that you've developed and the lessons that you've learned, knowing that whatever you do, God goes with you. Amen.
Would the audience please be seated for the recessional?